So, ladies and gentlemen, the FORSATEC team in Burkina Faso actually liberated some foreign machineries today in Burkina Faso with a lot of equipment to show for it. Ladies and gentlemen, these are good equipment. These are elite equipment. I don't know how they function, but when you look at the type of equipment that were captured after this operation, I feel like the foreign machineries were brought in to make a statement, and it would have not been a regular statement. It would have been a statement that would have made a headline, because when I looked at the size of the bullets, I don't know if those things were bullets. When I looked at the size of what looked to me like a gun, I don't know if they are even guns. I mean, we are beginning to come across some type of equipment in the Sahel where you feel like, man, does this really belong anywhere close to Africa? Should this type of equipment even be found in Africa? If you have a certain type of army that is arming themselves with this type of armament, the question is, what would have been the reaction of those that are funding, this element right now? Because a regular person cannot fund this person. A businessman in Africa, a politician, in my opinion, cannot even cannot bankroll this type of armament. Guys, I'm even seeing some of this equipment, like, what are they used for? Like, look at this particular equipment. What could it have been? It doesn't look like it looks something like I've never seen before. So, according to information, they said intelligence was shared with the FORSATEC team as a rapid intervention team. But the FORSATEC team is a special anti-terrorism squad that was created to intercept and to respond to situation based on the risk. According to the information, they said reconnaissance actually have several elements moving towards a Burkinabe military camp. Based on information, they were trying to overrun that base, and that was a critical base that have actually been placed in that strategic location to lead ambush on the logistic route of the Ansaru Islamic sect. And according to information, they said this particular military unit in this base, which is made up majorly of rapid intervention brigade battalions, they've actually been able to launch a lot of good counter-offensive from this place, and they've actually been able to dislodge the enemy logistics. And this is the shortest way through which the enemy can get their fuels, their medicine, their contraband, illicit drugs, and many other things in. So it has been a big problem for them, big problem for them. But according to the information, so because of the effectiveness of the operations of this unit, so who knows, maybe that was why they brought in this foreign machineries. And the FORSATEC team was notified about them, that engaged them. So after this engagement, we only got notified about the engagement. We did not hear anything after we got the notification about this engagement. So we started seeing some channel on X saying that the Burkinabe team that actually engaged this element actually took serious damage. That even their commander was shocked. We don't know how they got that information, but later today we got this information, released with the weapons that were captured. And this is shocking because if you look at the equipment, plus on top of that, the fact that they are foreign machineries, plus on top of that, there was one of them that was captured. And even though it was captured, it looked pretty beat up to me. I mean, I don't know if capturing that type of guy, I can't post him right here because it's the physical condition violates every protocol over here. So he was captured, and man, he's covered in there are dust all over him and all of that. So when you look at those equipment, most especially the gun, Man, first of all, I give a lot of respect to the Burkinabe armed forces, because sometimes I ask myself, how do you even confront yourself with the realities that the enemies that confront you come with so much capability sometimes? Because when you look at some of this equipment, the question is, this equipment, do they even belong anywhere close to Africa at all? This capabilities does not belong with what a politician, like a regular politician in Africa, can, just back up. No, this is not, this is beyond the scope of Africa now. So we have to look at the bigger picture at this point. Look at the bullet. The bullets are not, there are two variation of bullets here. I'm seeing the normal bullets we know, then I'm seeing some other type of, I don't know if they are bullets. Some of you guys that have good military experience can tell us about the other ones that look something like a slug or something. So the Burkina armed forces were able to capture it, and this is a big message because based on the enemy sources that actually dropped the first false information, I think they dropped that information believing that the Burkinabes were not going to be able to match up with the firepower and the experience of these mercenaries. Ladies and gentlemen, we did not see the bodies of the liberated machineries, but according to the information we have, these machineries that were liberated, they said they were foreign machineries. Though foreign machineries can be from Libya, it can be from Sudan, and foreign machineries can be from, over the ocean, it can be from overseas. So we really can't tell who these foreign machineries were, how they got in, or could it be that these machineries were the ones that have been training these elements and they felt like, okay, let's get some fight under our bets today, and at the end of the day, they got them gone. Maybe the African, banderites are even stronger than these guys, but it is what it is. That is the first one. So I give a lot of credit to the Burkinabe armed forces, most especially the FORSATEC team. Based on information, they said even the enemy reporters were able to they were able to clarify something, that the Force Attack has never lost any battle since the time that it has been created as an elite anti-terrorism unit. So that is the information we have, first of all, for Burkina Faso. Then secondly, we have an African citizen that has been captured in the Russia-Ukraine war, but has been released. Ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the biggest lenience I've ever seen in my life. The doctrine for machineries in the front line in Russia-Ukraine is uh, they get liberated. Instantaneously, they get liberated. In fact, the consequence for machineries is much worse. But this person actually was an Ivorian citizen based on reports. And you can see his picture right there. You could actually see the Ukrainian badge. He was on his knee at the time. So the Russian forces actually captured him. And, it was, according to information, his fate could have been concluded. The others that were captured alongside already has their fate sealed. Ain't no negotiation to that. But in the spirit of brotherhood that Russia just feels for Africa, they've now notified the Ivorian embassy, and they've, made efforts, and they've like prepared documents to repatriate him down to Ivory Coast. They just had mercy, mercy just prevailed over judgment in one, you know and it's funny, it's very, very funny. Now a lot of people have been saying that, yeah, Ivorians are this, Ivorians are that. No, I don't believe Ivorians are bad. We just saw the Ivorians protesting against, Alassani Ouattara going for another term, so that means a lot. And from the videos we've seen that even the Ivorian citizens get treated in a very, very devastating fashion. The way they beat up Ivorians online, from the videos I've seen, man, it's something very, very dangerous, man. This is not democracy. it has no sign, symptoms, or symbols of democracy over it again. What we have in Ivory Coast right now is complete dictatorship, complete dictatorship. And I think this is even beyond the Ivorians at this point. You know, we've had situation where the home of some of the gendarmes that have actually been maltreating the citizens have been raised down. So, but the escalation continues. But we don't know if the Ivorian security have been able to quell the situation. But this particular man has been sent to Ivory Coast, you know. But what I think is that this is not a situation of him wanting to get involved, maybe because of some bitter rivalry. No, I think these are just, you know, Africans that still has this euphoria of when they hear the word Europe, you know, the next thing, oh, yes, my destiny, I want to go and make it in life and all of that. I don't want to believe this storyline of I did not know that they were taking me to the front line and stuff like that. I do believe that he knows that he was pre-informed. In my opinion, what I think, I might be wrong, you know, he was in the know that he was going to get involved in some capacity on the, you know, maybe not on the front line where he could have been captured, but I do believe that he knew that he was going. But maybe from the African smart thinking, he was thinking that maybe if he get there, he was going to, you know, default and he was going to run off from wherever they post him and he was going to escape maybe to other European countries. But unfortunately for him, you know, he got caught. And, you know, I think he just got lucky right there. He got lucky. So lucky right there. Who knows what would have happened? So another situation that we have in Mali is that we now have a lot of elements deserting a lot of machines, deserting a lot of motorcycles, deserting a lot of equipment. We've equally been seeing some videos online of these elements. You know, they were fetching oil, you know. Okay, there was a rumor out there that there is fuel shortage in Mali, but the question is, how in the first place does this element even get this amount of fuel into the forest?
ko ɓe mbino tiiɗi hoye bama ko ɗon noɗɗoro gaɗa ni ha ha simere ɓe kasila ko essence ka gelle ha awɓe ka moto fadoro ne ñete awɓe ka waɗi boyere otuma awta sande a ha awta essence in sande a le wo motti yere seware yere litre keme dur awde ka kala fufu ha aw jadi sino fana nta do mo ba fo cewti ha essence ka gele di chomina litre kelen kema wora wala ma keme duru awdu be kan mun so nunu be fa sa kasoro hali aw ma dorme kelen bo aje niga gele ali bo ko din ti soro ali bo ko bide sango na ame vele ka di moti ka ma o kana ame do duma ko tume kasila ko essence ko bula o se kana ame do duma ko inshallah haris
How did they get that truck into that location? That was one. Then two, man, that looks to me like a filled up truck. So it's about the supply chain of these people. This is a deep, this is a deep level, should I say, crime network, you know. And to me, if they can get this vehicle, this tanker into the forest, who was the driver? What company bought this hydrocarbon? We need to ask critical question here. There's no way they would have smuggled a whole tanker into that place without, no. In my opinion, I believe that there are still some internal players in all of this. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? It's your boy 7200 signing out. Enough said, but before I go, I really appreciate you coming back today. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and God bless you. Much salute.